We have all had painful events in our lives that can lead to depression, anxiety, addiction, or broken relationships. But here's a secret. It is not about what happened to us that causes suffering. It's the stories we believe about ourselves. Join us as we shine light on how to rewrite our stories, avoid the shadows of shame, and travel along the pathway to joy, love, and connection. It's the Finding Peace podcast with your host, Amazon best-selling author, Troy L. Love.
Hello, and welcome to the season final of the Finding Peace podcast. During this episode, I have the opportunity to walk Daniel through the Finding Peace Worksheet. I met Daniel when he came to the Finding Peace retreat in 2022 in Texas. And this man is a man of light. He's a man of strength. He's a man of integrity. And he's a man of love. I am so humbled and grateful that he was willing to be a guest here on the Finding Peace podcast. And hopefully his light will shine through to you as you join me in listening to this episode of the Finding Peace podcast. Give me an update. How are you doing, man?
Wow. I would say doing well. Yeah. It's been just great experiences every day, trying to learn and grow, and I kind of keep trying to remind myself that, every now and again I have to remind myself for sure that it's a process and that I got to keep growing. Yeah.
Tell me two amazing things that have happened to you lately.
Wow, great. Two amazing things. Well, just celebrated my 24-year anniversary with my lovely wife. So woo-hoo, it was pretty awesome. So yeah, we just had a great, lovely weekend together. A lot of fun, a lot of connection, but also a lot of tears and a lot of work, together to really assess, how our relationship is working. And so that's good. So that's one wonderful thing. And then I would say another wonderful thing that's happened recently. Gosh. Yeah, that's kind of tough. Just
that's
enough
all right.
to come to mind. But
that's okay.
Yeah,
it's not a test.
Right.
So.
Yes. Gosh.
Well, thank you for doing this with me today.
Absolutely. I'm glad we were able to find a time to do it for sure. This is fantastic.
Yeah. So how this works is you pick something that you would like a little bit more peace or joy about in your life, and then we walk through the worksheet that you were introduced to at the retreat.
Yeah.
And we just walk through it. So do you have an idea of something that you would like to be able to work on during this time?
Yeah, I'd wondered about that. As I tried to think about it, let me see if I can move me too. There we go. I can see it. Gosh. I think, yes, I think, I feel a lot of disconnect from my family of origin, and particularly my dad. And so just having felt a lot of that distance continues to, I can tell, affect me a lot. So just feeling like since he and my mom were divorced a few years ago, that it's just been very surface level and shallow and very infrequent. So feel a little lost.
Okay.
In that relationship. So I think just some of those wounds around not feeling very important or wanted. Yeah.
If you and I were sitting down together and watching this event on a video, what are some of the things that I would see or hear as I'm watching the video?
It'd be a really short video, one, really boring. And that's kind of how I would describe most of our very infrequent phone calls that are typically just on the most significant days. So I'll get a birthday call maybe, and then I'll try to call him maybe on his birthday, and not a whole lot else in terms of checking in or things like that, or just calling to say hi or try to maintain that connection. So
When's the last time you saw him?
Probably what's that, February, maybe it was March of this year. He and his new wife came to a track meet for my son, because it worked out to be on a date when he was coming into our town, right? Our area where we live, and my son was running at a area track meet, and so he got to come and actually see that, and so he just came and witnessed that and spent a little time with us up in the stands, and so it was good.
All right. So if I were going to put all of that in 1 to 2 sentences, it would be. Do you want me to do it?
Okay, sorry. No, you want me to?
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I was going to do it.
Okay, good.
Ever since my parents got divorced, I've had minimal contact with my dad. All right.
That's perfect.
So,
yeah. And the contact that I have feels very, very surface level.
Very shallow.
Shallow.
Got it. So, as you think about that, what wound does that hit for you?
Good question. I really think I didn't realize it until I stare at it right now. I know I've considered it abandonment because I feel abandoned, but also there's a neglect in there that I feel.
Yeah. I love your emotion. Your emotion is welcome here.
It's all right.
Don't apologize.
Okay.
Your emotion's welcome here.
All right.
How long have you had a neglect wound?
I think quite a bit of time since when I was younger. I was the youngest of 3 kids, and I feel like because my parents' relationship wasn't great because of some infidelity early on when I was really young. I was like 2 or 3 that I didn't know about or anything, but since that point, or more recently, my dad has admitted to feeling more comfortable at work than he did at home. And so he poured himself into his business that he ran. He was a sole proprietor all my life, and he just spent a lot of time at work. And when he was home, sometimes he'd bring work home, and I didn't realize that I didn't feel a lot of connection to him. My older siblings, my older sister, my older brother, they seemed to capture more of his attention too. I guess just because they were, further along and older, and he could relate to them better probably than he could to me. And then also my brother had some special needs, and so garnered a lot of attention as well. He has Tourette syndrome, and that's caused some challenges, I think. So.
And how long have you had an abandonment wound?
I don't. That's a good question. I'm not sure on that one. That's probably, I feel, it feels more recent, like it is from this time frame of just feeling like this disconnection, or I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I can't think back far enough to think of when it maybe has started.
So it sounds like that one maybe after your mom and dad got divorced.
Yeah, I think so. More than anything, I mean, that's when it became very apparent. I think before that, I think it just always felt like I was concerned with kind of, over functioning um, to try to garner attention, if you will, at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as you think about, especially the neglect wound and now the abandonment wound, what did you end up believing about yourself as a result?
Hmm. I kind of just, I think I more than anything felt like I wasn't enough, that I wasn't, just wasn't as certainly as rewarding or as captivating as work was apparently, or um, hmm, um, as important to my dad anymore. That maybe, I think my relationship with him was really through my mom, and that she made all the effort there, and so it was a foreign idea to him to think that that's a relationship he needed to do something about, and so that makes me feel like he just, he doesn't want to. Um, Makes me feel pretty unwanted.
Has that bled over into other relationships, that core belief?
Oh yeah, it's been an overriding
Tell
theme
me
of
more
mine.
about that.
I think in life. Okay, just to feel very insecure all the time in my relationships with others, with friends, and then especially in my romantic relationships, and so with my wife, um, from the get go. That's been a wound, or that's been a belief inside me. I didn't realize, was being activated, and so only with current, more recent, knowledge that I've had to work towards, and thanks to individuals like yourself, gain uh, and these insights to be able to actually see it for what it is and see those dynamics that are at play. Am I able to recognize it? But for so long, I was just holding it inside, and was scared that anybody could ever know that I actually felt that way. Right? If my wife actually knew how scared and insecure I was, and how much I was just trying to get her approval all the time and needed her validation, like constantly, and not seeing that that was so extracting from her. It just made her feel so exhausted to feel like she had to prop me up all the time or help me feel secure. So yeah, it plays out in ways where I have a hard time um, feeling like it's valid for me to have needs.
Mm.
I feel like I don't want to be a burden to anybody else. I'm not really worthy of, or that it would be selfish of me. And so, and if I were selfish to have needs or want to, spend time on myself, or, oh gosh, do things for myself, that would be inconsiderate. And if I'm inconsiderate, then I'm not worthy of love and belonging from others, or they'll see me as not worth their time.
That's really heavy.
Yeah.
When that wound gets hit and that core belief gets activated, what core emotions do you feel?
Um, typically it starts out as fear. I feel a sense of threat, and so like I'll go into my hyper vigilant mode of, or hyper aware mode of, like, mapping, my wife's emotional state, and or my kids or my boss or my friends, and just worry, what are they thinking about me, and So that worry or that fear is there, and sometimes then it, that's a good question. I think I feel the fear, but I think it's manifested itself. I've allowed it to manifest itself differently. I mask my fear a lot with anger, feeling upset, or especially, as you've taught me and coined the phrase burpees. I get into the blaming, and I think that it's somebody else's fault that I'm feeling this way.
Well, blame is really our attempt to get rid of the pain and discomfort.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So it makes sense that that's what you're trying to do, because there's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Dude, I'm so proud of you, man. You're doing so good. All right. So usually by this time, as we've been feeling neglected, our core belief that we're not enough is really raging. We're super, super afraid, sometimes mad. Then the shadows of shame will march out to try and take care of all this pain.
Yeah.
So who usually shows up for you?
Oh, Mr. Judge. He shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He shows up quick. I'm really quick to blame myself for all of it. That it's me. It's my fault. Like I'm not enough. I'm not doing, the right things like I should to win people over, or to, who would want to be around me, right? With the kind of person I am. Who would, and reevaluating constantly, what I've been saying or doing, and so the judge is ever present with these beliefs about myself and what I do, and how it's me, that needs to just, if I were only able to be better at something, or if I were able to be, just more fun or more spontaneous, then they would want to spend time with me. Or just really self-deprecating thoughts. So the judge definitely has some choice messages to me.
Is there anyone else that shows up for you?
Oh yeah, and then the martyr, because they merge and mix.
Yeah.
The martyr feels like, which has been hard, because then the martyr shows up telling me all the stuff that I need to do to please everybody else, and that I need to suppress any inkling of a need on my part. That's invalid, no, if you have that, you're going to drive everyone else away if you were to share that or say that you want, to feel more secure. So I think, the martyr does a pretty good job of that. Or maybe even that's the politician saying, don't let anybody else.
No, that's totally martyr right there.
Okay, it's martyr,
that's
right?
Martyr, right? Yeah.
That's that martyr. They hand off so well,
If you were going to take a selfie, if you're going to take a picture of your judge and send it to me, what would I get when I opened up my phone? What would I see?
Yeah, I mean, oof. I had a hard time with that one, even in the workbook, to be honest. Maybe it's, I don't know if it's that I don't want to admit it to myself, but what I started drawing, and I have started drawing, and just can't quite get myself to complete it. But it is a judge. It's literally like there's a big, big judge's desk, someone that's over me, that I'm trying to prove myself to. And
so he's huge.
He's really big, and it's both. It's hard to admit, but it's been anyone whom it can change, right? It could be anyone whom I've wanted approval from. So my dad's up there, behind that desk, indifferent to me. Even though I don't want to characterize him as such, and then same with my wife. I felt that from that my wife's voice can show up a lot in those messages. Yeah.
It's kind of the image that comes up for me is a giant judge, similar to one of the Disney movie where there's a judge in there. The Wild Ride, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, the big old judge pointing. And then in the jury, we have your dad, we have your wife, we have other people over there that's
there you go,
ready to make a final judgment about you.
Yeah, that makes good sense. I do. I see them more as the jury, and the judge is almost just a big, ugly version of me.
All right. If you were going to take a picture of the martyr and send it to me, what would I see when I got it?
I think my martyr is really, really small. When I feel those feelings, it makes me, want to be small, to shrink down. And so I think my martyr is like, it's almost, well, gosh, is it? I guess my martyr is, it's almost like a younger version of myself.
How young?
7th grade. Let's see, that puts me at roughly 14, maybe 13, 14. Yeah.
How old is your son that was running track?
Yeah, he's 17.
Do you have a younger child than him?
I do. I have a 15-year-old.
Around that age, then.
He's my youngest. Yeah.
So just notice how much power that younger shadow has over you.
Yeah. It's those are some rough years for me.
Yeah. So it would make sense that you learned then to try and please everybody. It was the only way you knew how to get your needs met. And so that martyr kind of got stuck as that defense mechanism for you and has been continuing to try to convince you to take care of everybody ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely felt, a need to be needless in my household growing up. Need to not be a problem.
Where else?
Yeah, in my marriage, my family, just
Well, if you are a problem, what
don't
would
be a
that
problem. I would lose the ones that I care about most. The ones that I love would leave me, or have a reason to.
So, although you didn't have an abandonment wound, the fear of being abandoned was pretty profound.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Incredibly. Yeah.
What does your judge sound like, and what does he say?
Ooh. The judge is just a really critical voice, really disappointed, um, demeaning. It's with an element of anger in it, upset with how pathetic I am, or how weak I am.
So it says things like, you're pathetic, you're weak.
Yeah.
You're not enough, you're not trying hard enough, you're not measuring up.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If you would just, try harder, you're not amounting to what you're supposed to be. You're disappointment.
You are disappointment. So if you're going to point to where he is in the room right now with you, where would he be?
Wow. I don't know. He's in my head.
So can you take him out of your head and put him in the room somewhere? Because we don't want him in your head anymore.
Yeah. So I'd put him in front of me, just off to my left.
Okay.
Just there. Yeah. Standing. He's standing.
Okay. Now just breathe. As you're looking at him, he's standing there. Just notice what your body does. What do you notice?
I look away. I look down. I divert my eyes.
Yeah, he's scary.
Just like, I'm scared. I'm ashamed. I move a lot. I kind of twitch. I'm moving my knees and hands right now, just to deal with the discomfort.
So I want you to look him right in the eye, and I want you to say, "Hey, I see you."
Hey, I see you.
Just notice what he does.
He kind of just slouched and turned. Just kind of slinks away.
That's beautiful. Breathe into that. All it took was for you to see him, for him to back away a little bit. Okay, we'll deal with him a little bit more in just a sec. Where in the room is the martyr?
The martyr is busy. He's really busy moving around the room, pacing, thinking. Yeah,
just doing a lot.
Figuring out. Yeah, all this stuff he's got to go do.
What's it like to watch him being so busy? Yeah,
it is. Exhausting.
Okay, so I want you to say "hey" and have him look at you, and then say "I see you too."
Martyr, I see you too.
Notice what he does.
He's standing still. He just took a deep breath. Just stopped.
Okay, notice how you're feeling.
A little more calm, a little more empowered, I think.
Good. So I want you to ask the martyr first a question. What wound or pain or suffering are you trying to prevent me from experiencing by telling me that I'm responsible for everybody else?
I think he's trying to prevent me from experiencing the pain of abandonment that I fear so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
The feeling, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not worth other people's time.
Yeah. So I want you to tell him thank you for trying to take care of that fear and that worry for you.
Martyr, thank you for trying to protect me from my fear of abandonment. I know you felt like you were helping protect me. I don't need you anymore. And judge? Yeah.
What does he do? What's he do?
He takes a vacation.
You were going to say something to the judge and I interrupted.
Yeah, judge. I appreciate you trying to convince me that there's reasons for what I'm feeling and protect me from my fear of rejection from others by convincing me to reject myself first. But it's hurting me now. So I don't need your help anymore.
What does he do?
Man, he shuts up. It's really quiet. Yeah.
That's nice. Good. All right. So in this space of quietness, I want you to just breathe. I'm going to ask your body and your heart and your spirit a question. What is actually true about Daniel?
I'm a pretty great guy. I'm really good to be around and to have as a part of life. I'm okay just being me.
So I'd like to say that.
Man, it's relieving. It's helps me feel like things just slowed down a lot for me.
So I know in your faith, there's another judge. And if that judge were sitting in the room with you, and I were to say, hey, probably wouldn't say hey, but if I were to say, can you tell me who Daniel is? Can you tell me what's true about him? Can you tell me what is false about what the judge has been telling him this whole time and the martyr? What would he say?
I'd say I'm loved. I'm doing a good job. And he'll always be there for me when I need him. And not to feel so alone.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
I wonder if he would say something like, it's not your responsibility to take care of everybody. That's my job.
That is true. Yeah. Why do I try so much?
Because your martyr was so afraid that if you didn't, people would leave you.
Yeah.
And your judge who's sitting before you, who has wounds in his hands and in his feet, knows exactly what it feels like to have people abandon him. And he was perfect.
Yeah. Wow. He sure does.
So he gets it.
Yeah.
So what's your truth? I'm okay just being me. I am enough. I am worthy of love and belonging. Yeah, you are. Now, what if your father is not in a place where maybe he feels enough to be able to show up the way you really need him to?
Yeah.
Does that define you?
No.
When you connect with this truth that you have and you notice that he pulls away, what do you feel?
Wow, I think I feel like I'm okay, and I feel compassion really for him. I feel like I don't need to wait for him to want or to strive or to know how to connect with me. I can act for myself and pursue what I want if I choose to. Yeah.
So just breathe into that. Notice where you feel that light in your body. Where do you notice it?
Gosh, I just feel like I've got light inside me, in my heart, and it just feels like it's beaming out of me. Instead of feeling so cold and empty and scared, I feel like I can open my chest up and feel confident and comfortable and safe and not so vulnerable.
That's exactly how I would describe the first time I met you. So from this place of light and truth, what is it that you need? Not what do you need to do? What do you need?
I think I need attention and presence. Yeah, I know I do.
Yeah, you do. So, where can you get it?
Wow. I can get attention and presence from those that I love, by just asking, by making those
just like
desires known. Yeah. By creating opportunity and space for that in my life.
Yeah. Name 3 people that you think you might be able to get that from tonight.
Yeah. My lovely wife. 3 of my beautiful kids that are here in my home tonight.
Don't forget the guy.
The guy that I'm talking to right now.
Well, I wasn't talking about him. But yes, I do love you too.
The guy.
I was meaning the other guy.
The other guy we were speaking to earlier, huh? Yeah. Absolutely.
But I absolutely love spending time with you. It's been wonderful.
Thanks.
How you feeling?
This has been really helpful. I really, gosh, I feel like so many times that I'm in such a better place, and I'm in total, in a place of redemptive wholeness, and then to be able to address, these feelings and these thoughts with you tonight has been incredibly helpful to just push me forward again and give me that additional momentum that I've needed, to recognize what's going on with me. So thank you.
Well, thank you for walking through it with me. It means a lot. Well, go love on your wife. Go let her love on you.
Yep.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, my brother from another mother.
Absolutely. I hope you have a beautiful night.
Troy, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And I enjoyed spending time with you tonight.
You're welcome.
All right, man.
If you would like to be a guest on the Finding Peace podcast, please go to findingpeaceconsulting.com/podcast and scroll down about 2/3 of the way to the Yes, I'm In button, where you will have an opportunity to fill out an application to be a guest on the podcast, walking through the Finding Peace Worksheet. Thank you for listening. And remember, you are worthy of love and belonging.
You've been listening to the Finding Peace podcast. If you love the show or want to ask a question, let us know by going to findingpeaceconsulting.com. There, you can also learn about the Finding Peace 5-Day Challenge. Remember to subscribe to this podcast so you won't miss the next episode. And if you are listening on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. It really does help other people find this podcast more easily. Thank you for spending part of your journey with us. And a special thanks to Johnny Porter for producing the show. and AG Flux for the new background music. Copyright Finding Peace Consulting.